GM2 YouTube. Today, I'm going to try to do a 300 rundown. I have a bunch of like hyper high level guides, like 500, how to do red X, how to do butterfly. I just wanted a general run through of how to just do a 300. Just get through a raid. You don't need that much to get through a raid, and you don't need to learn that much tech to get through a 300 either. This is the gear. It's nothing that crazy. Fairly simple. Fairly simple. A thing I'm doing is instead of using melee armor, I'm using Blue Moon. One of the cool things about Blue Moon is it has strength bonus. So this works as melee armor. Another nice thing it has, which I didn't know, is crush defense. We're tanking Baba punches. We're tanking Baba punches. It actually has quite a bit of crush defense. So I'm hoping this should be enough with our lovely collection of brews here to get through Baba. I think we'll be good. We have a general setup. Why have I bought the things I've bought? Okay. Fire cape. Fine. Get a fire cape. I'm wearing Serp Helm just because it's pretty tanky, mainly. I was considering using regular Nezi. Face guard is very expensive. Serp Helm is fairly good because it's fairly tanky and it's going to avoid venom for you, which is kind of nice. It's just a nice QOL thing. Buying a face guard later when you have money is great, but this works for now. Camping a Fury. I'm using a Fury as my range switch as well. So just one-way Fury, brain off. Basic Dragon Boots, Barrows Gloves. Barrows Gloves are also my ranging gloves, so I don't need that many switches. Fang. Fang is 13 mil. Fang is probably the most powerful weapon in the inventory right now. It's really, really good. Charge your Serp? That's a good idea. Charge your Serp. If it doesn't have charges, it won't do anything. Wait, mine? It's fine. Why are you saying Serp 1%? I'm so confused. Charge your Serp? Charge your Serp. My Serp is charged, my friends. It has charges in it. Okay. Mage switch. Da-da-da-da. I'm now magicianing. Okay. Trident. My Blue Moon gear is already my mage armor. This has mage damage, which is good. Imbued mage cape. Book of the Dead is offhand. And occult necklace. And my range switch is this guy. Blessed Head, Blowpipe, Fury, Barrows Gloves, Assembler. And then we have a crossbow. Crossbow, Blowpipe, swapping out. Bringing DDS for the core. We'll get into that. But this helps you kill Warden at the end of the raid. And Burning Claws are extremely high value spec weapon for 20 mil. They cost 23 mil. These are actually your best spec until you hit the raid level of 375. Until then, these are your best option. Make sure you put them on stab. If they are not on stab, they will not be good. They will be very, very bad. Has to be on stab. This is one of the only spec weapons that can use the style you put it on. Put it on stab. Everything in ToA is weak to stab over slash. So keep it on stab. And then a Bone Dagger. You're like, what the heck is that? Bone Dagger, its spec is a guaranteed hit. It uses 75% of your spec meter. If it's the first hit of the fight, it's guaranteed to hit, and it will drain whatever you hit. So what that means for you, basically, is this is a discount BGS. When you open up boss fights, you're going to open up with this spec on it. So this makes them squishy. This slices and dices, okay? Invocations. This is what I'm running. So I'm doing Softcore, Walk the Path. I'm keeping Deadly Prayers on. I think it's fairly easy. I'm not going to go super in-depth on these. There's a lot of different options and choices. That's what ToA is all about. You have loads of options. If something's giving you a struggle, you can turn something off, turn something else on. I think these are fairly simple to get a raid done with, okay? The big thing is we are running Insanity. We are running Insanity. It is not as bad as you think it is, I promise. Insanity is easy to deal with, and I'm going to teach you how, okay? Insanity is easy to deal with. Yeah, the other weird one is Upset Stomach. People are scared of Upset Stomach. Also solved. It's incredibly easy to deal with. And I'll teach you how to do that as well. Feeling Special is so difficult. It's so difficult. Feeling Special is one of the only invos that makes your life easier. No timers on, no supply invos, just softcore in case you die, you can get back in there. You get 3 lives with softcore. One more thing that I was using to check some things, and I want to show. Anytime you're doing a raid, if you plug your setup into Gearscape, this looks overwhelming, relax. I plugged my setup in here, okay? I duplicated it, and then I plugged in different weapons. Okay, I'll show you. Trident of the Swamp, baboom. Okay? Don't be overwhelmed. Put in every possible combination of your weapons, okay? So I have my Fang, I have my Mage, and I have my Crossbow, okay? And then I have my Blowpipe down here just to see. And then I have what potions I'm going to be using on everything, okay? So if you go on Gearscape, I use Gearscape for all my calcs. If you go here on Gearscape, they actually have a groups option. So you can throw in the entire raid of ToA into the calc at once, and you can just scroll through everything. And it will just tell you what your best option is on everything. Now, I'm going to tell you what your best option is on everything. But if you ever want to make changes and you're like, Is fang suddenly worth it now? Like, should I start using fang at this boss? You can check. You can check all your weapons, and you can see what your best option is at every single boss. For example, right, I want to check, do I fang the shadows on Akkha? I don't know. No, it turns out blowpipe is better, right?
A leech
Okay,
has spawned.
I can just check that easily. Fang is better on Obelisk. Interesting. Fang is really, really close on P3. Interesting. Yeah, so if you're ever, like, not sure on something, plug in the weapons, and you can actually go check against all the sets. What is that site? It's gearscape.net. Gearscape.net. They have another thing for best setup. I'll show it briefly. Another thing, I'm not going to get into depth on this, but you can plug in what gear you have. You can import it with a RuneLite plugin, or you can just put in an amount of money down here, and you can plug in bosses, and it'll tell you what the best option for that boss is based on the money or the items you have. So you can check everything. Everything. I went into this on depth in the ultimate, like, account building guide, but when you're doing a raid, you want to check things in the calc without just, like, doing it blindly. Don't play with blinders on. Go check. Go check if something's worth doing. I'm going to still not do half the things you recommend because I'm bad. Dang, man. Dang. So this is all you need to do a raid. You don't need that much. This setup costs...
A leech has spawned.
It's like 70 mil. What costs $1 million? The kits? Oh, the stack of bolts. Okay, hold on. I'm like, what costs $1 million, dude? There we go. 65 mil. 65 mil. Not too bad. Not too bad. If you happen to have upgraded to a face guard, don't forget you can bring one Sandfew. And that works as anti-poison. I'm wearing anti-poison at all times with a SERP, so you don't need to worry about it in that case. One more thing. A lot of people early on, they're like, oh, you bring Barrage, right? You bring Barrage. Don't bring Barrage. Bring Thralls. Thralls are really, really strong. They're really, really strong. Monkey Room is very easy these days with the changes. You don't need Ancients for it. You can get through that room just fine. If you bring Thralls, these boost your damage a lot, especially with really weak gear, budget gear. Thralls matter even more. They do a big chunk of your damage. Like, usually around 5 to 10% of your DPS are Thralls. So bring Thralls. They're going to speed up your raid a lot. You'll notice a huge difference if you weren't doing that. All right, I think we're good to go. All right, when you're entering a raid, you pre-pot. We don't need anti-venom because I'm wearing a SERP helm. So this is a typical pre-pot. Skip the heart. We don't even need that. Drink your divines. Divine super combat. Divine ranging. Shark, stamina, anglerfish. You're overhealed. You have a stamina active. And you have your stats boosted. Okay, I'm going to try to keep this as basic as possible. Obviously, I've done a lot of ToA and I know a lot of things to improve it, but I'm going to try to keep this as basic as possible. When I start the monkey room, okay, and I always start with Baba first because it's easier because your pre-pot's going to help in this room the most. Drop 3 potions, pray melee, grab a hammer, and grab a potion. Okay, so the way this room works is they're color-coded baboons, okay? They take guaranteed max hit if you use the correct style against them, which is just the combat triangle, okay? So it's melee the green ones, shoot the blue ones, and mage the red ones, okay? So you can do one-way switches and kill all of these. The only one that doesn't get one shot is the shamans. The shamans summon little thralls that hit you, okay? I'm doing full switches because I'm used to it. It's lost. You can do one-ways. You can do one-ways. And basically, you're just trying to stay ahead, try to quickly do switches, and kill the room off. Yeah, you do need piety. So prayer one way is enough to kill everything. Okay, I'm going to try to kill off these curse baboons. Curse baboons leave a trail of venom. Because we have a SERP helm, the venom isn't going to affect us, but it still does damage, so you don't want to run in it. Mage the red ones. These are volatile baboons. They're going to walk up to you and explode. And they will actually blow up other monkeys around them. So you can sometimes use them to your advantage. I would say just avoid them while you're learning the room. And then you can try to use them later as you learn. So a big part of the skill in the room is just using volleys to your advantage. And that's it. That's the whole monkey room. I just did it. It's really not that bad. With the changes they made, it's a lot easier than it used to be. Okay. The thralls. Little known fact. A lot of people don't know this. The little tiny baboon thralls, the blue ones that damage you that are summoned by the shamans, those damage your prayer as well. So they drain you. So you want to avoid tanking a ton of them if possible. Okay. This is Baba. So, like I said, we're going to open with a bone dagger. What we hit is what's going to drain Baba for. So the higher we hit with this bone dagger, the easier the room's going to be. The more Swiss cheese it's going to be. Just enter the room. Bone dagger immediately. Hiya. 16's pretty good. 20's the max drain we can get, so 16 is almost max. Okay. Baba does this AoE attack sometimes. You just want to avoid it. Sometimes she drops rocks from the ceiling. You want to avoid that. And when she drops rocks on the ground, you want to pull her towards one of these because she can throw a rock at you. If you're not standing next to these when it lands, it does 10 times more damage. Okay, another thing. Just kill these. These do a lot of damage. We don't have a ton of range defense. And these open sarcophagi. So if it managed to open this, we're chilling. So if things are bad, Baba's a fun room. If things are going bad, and you're not near one of these rocks, you can take half damage if you stand next to a sarcophagus. I'm going to repot. So every time you full brew, you're going to repot with a super combat. Okay, and I'm going to use a crossbow here. Crossbow is enough to one-shot these easily. If you get up to this yellow line, you can run right through it. Okay? Straight back on the boss. I have specs now. Let's dump some. So you can see those do a lot of damage. Burning Claws have a lot of value. Baba's one of those rooms that can go bad really quick, so you just want to keep ahead of where the boulders are spawning and get near them. Okay. My divine just ran out, so I'm going to redivine in a second. Every 33%, Baba throws boulders again. Okay, these might hit me. That's okay. And run through. All right, nice. Let's redivine. Might need to rebrew. If so, that's okay. I'm going to Burning Claw. So I'm going to throw. Burning Claws over D-Claws? Yes, because the D-Claws don't spec using slash defense. Burning Claws can. So Burning Claws are actually really strong in ToA. Okay, because the boss is low, I'm going to try to tank the monkeys. Might have to brew here. One more hit. Because I had plenty of health left, we're good. And that's it. That's Baba. So I used one brew. You'd probably expect to use between 1 and 2 brews on average. That's probably what you'd expect. We have plenty of brew left. Red number on Baba's the HP. So I have that in Monster HP percentage plugin, I believe. I typed in her name so I could see it. Okay, we're going to go this way. This is Kephri, so I always do Kephri second. Pray range through this room because little scarabs are going to spawn that damage you. Okay. Do one puzzle, climb through the hole, and then you can do the next puzzle. I try to avoid doing the obelisk puzzle just because it's really slow. Okay, this is Kephri. Kephri is really simple and easy. Okay. First thing you're going to do when you enter, drop a claw. Guess what? She's weak to stab. And it does decent damage. Okay.
A leech has spawned.
When you start Kephri, you want to come to this side of her. And she's going to surround you with a bunch of bugs. When she does that, step away from the boss like this. And it's going to put a line there. Okay? So these lines, you cannot walk through. That's like Kephri's main thing she has going on. You can't walk through those. I'm going to try not to flick a little bit. No flicking. Okay, now she's summoning eggs. She's summoning eggs. These explode, so you don't stand next to them. And I did enough damage to phase her. So just come down here and hit the spitting scarab. One of the things you can do when you're better at the raid is shoot all these swarms with your blowpipe to avoid her healing like this. But when you're learning, it really doesn't matter. Another little thing I'm going to do. Kephri has a bug where you can't use Bone Dagger on her normally. If you do it right as she gets up, so waiting. If you use it right as she gets up from this phase, you just spam click. It actually is a guaranteed hit. So you can get a Bone Dagger off on Kephri. Really nice. That's going to last until her health turns red at the very end of the fight. So her defense will be lower. Okay, now I'm waiting for that next set of swarms because I'm going to put it here. Okay, swarms, step here. And now I've created a trap. So next time she gets her health down to 0, she's going to summon 2 bugs. One of them's going to get trapped in here. He's melee only, so you don't have to deal with him. So that's why we did this. So now we just have to deal with the magic scarab. And if you know ToA, you know it's awful. We hate the magic scarab. Gonna work our way over there. Okay. All hands on deck. You want to kill this as fast as possible. And just fang it. It's fine. Every 3 large hit splats you get is going to make it jump to a different side of the room. And there's these red little swarms charging underneath her. If she manages to charge that up, she slams you with like 60 damage. You can pray mage against it. You will survive, but she does a ton of damage. This guy's weak to mage, so we're going to mage him. Okay. And I see my divines run out, so I'm just going to re-up that. And we have Burning Claw specs. Let's send him. You can see, like, the Burning Claws just hit, like, a consistent 40 every single time. And these little red hit splats as well. That's actually burn. That's burn damage. So every time you see that, you're doing an additional 10 damage over time with that. So Burning Claws are really, really strong. And why do we kill the melee? I'm so glad you asked! Because it heals the boss. The melee heals the boss. You could ignore it, but that heals the boss consistently. So you always want to kill it. Always worth it. And it's just hit the boss now. Okay, so this is the last health bar. Baba now has full defense once again. Our Bone Dagger has worn off. It's not worth Bone Daggering again. We're just going to kill it. Get one more spec off. Baba? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I got bugs in my brain. And Baba is dead. I can't wait to go into Kephri next. Let's go. Okay, we're good. That's Kephri. Okay. This is a supply ghost. Every 2 bosses you kill, you get a supply ghost. Okay? Every single time you get here, put a big red X on these options. These don't exist. Wrong. Put your hand over them. This is the only thing that exists. Because these salts that you get give you a massive stat boost and increase your damage dramatically. You always take this one first. Every single time you will take it first. That chaos is stacked. That chaos is stacked. You still don't take it. Unlucky. Okay? So what do these do? These salts give you the effect of overload for a very long time. I believe it's 10 minutes. They also recharge your run energy. So you can run around to your heart's content for 10 minutes and your stats are dramatically boosted. Okay? They're actually slightly better than an overload. Just a bit better. What does this do? This gives you half spec cost for 2.5 minutes. So for 2.5 minutes, all your specs cost half. So these we're going to want to save to the last boss. Okay? I have Walk the Path on. Okay? So Walk the Path makes the bosses level up as you complete them. So I want to pay attention to this. Which boss you do is kind of affected by this. Let's start with Akkha. The only thing that's really important is making sure Zebak doesn't get to level 4. If he's level 4, he's a lot harder. It's extremely rare that he gets to level 4.
A leech has spawned.
Actually, it might be impossible. I think it's impossible. Good, easy. Okay, this is the Akkha mining puzzle, okay? So basically, the plugin tells you where to put your mirror down, but it's also doing this green light on this statue. So if you get near the obelisk and click as it turns green, you mine it a few ticks earlier. If you have 85 mining and a dragon pickaxe, you are guaranteed to one down this pog. If you don't, it'll take you 2 tries. So it'll take a little longer. No biggie. And we're done. See, it's perfectly in line, so we finish just as it finishes. Cool. Fatty Doinkers with the fresh sub. Thank you so much. Okay. This is the hardest room, I would say. Akkha's very difficult. Okay? Before we go in there, pull a salt out. What's cool about salts is that they're an overload, and overloads give you your stats back every 15 seconds. That means You can drink these yellow potions a lot, and it's not going to cause issues. All right? Cool. So before you go in the room, eat that. Put on your mage gear. Enter Akkha. Okay. Akkha swaps styles through the fight. So at the start, he is red. That means we need to mage him. He hits you really hard with melee, but the other two doesn't hit you that hard. So you're going to take a lot of damage at the start. That's okay. We have Bruise. Okay. He's doing a special attack, and he swaps styles. So this does Simon Says in the middle. He's level 1, which means it does 4 of these. And every 2 ticks, they go off. Okay. Since he changed to melee or to ranged, I can attack him with melee now. I'm gonna use my Burning Claws. And we're gonna swap to Blowpipe because we're gonna attack these shadows. These shadows have low defense. That means Blowpipe's really, really strong. Okay. You saw he swapped blue there, and I prayed mage. Okay. Why is my character black right now? If I move, it spawns orbs. So don't move. Just sit there. Those will damage you, do bad things. Don't move. Now he's back to melee.
A leech has spawned.
All right, middle. 4 of them. Remember what it is. 4. Okay, we have to leave him in this area. Until we damage him another 20%, he has to be in this quadrant before the other shadows become vulnerable. We're going to leave him here. I believe Crossbow's actually better than Blowpipe a little bit on regular Akkha. The shadows are weak to Pipe.
A leech has spawned.
Okay. Almost there. Cool.
A leech has spawned.
Nice prayer. Guess what? You got Bruise. No biggie. You can actually keep attacking this while doing this. You do not at all have to do it, but if you want to throw it in there, you can. Back to melee. We can spec. Just kidding.
A leech has spawned.
Sometimes it changes really fast. Papa Yuke with the primer. Thank you so much. Nice little Ruby. I'm finishing him with Blowpipe because you can only hit him to the next 20%. So when he has only a little bit of health left, you can pipe. Just make sure you move really carefully. Let's use Bruise. Now, you might be getting nervous because your supplies are getting low. Zebak uses basically no supplies. So your Bruise are just for these 2 rooms. It's just Baba and Akkha. So no biggie. It's always a good time to brew when you're running over to this. Not only because it does a lot of damage if you mess up, but also because your stats can come back while you're doing it, and you're not damaging anything. So
A leech has spawned.
always kind of nice. Okay. This is the final phase Akkha. Extremely dangerous. Come phase. Whip out your claws. You can pray mage. You'll take a little bit less damage if you get hit. And you can also summon a melee thrall. Melee thrall actually doesn't make this jump. Okay. So, I don't even know how to break down how to do this. I took damage. Yeah, that's 20. Claws back on. I'll explain in a second. Okay, we did it. It dies really fast. Kind of just like spam damage and just run around the room damaging it. I have true tiles on so I can tell where they're going and how to dodge them. Just make sure your health is full before you go into that phase. Pray mage and just launch damage at everything. It dives really fast. Spam brew if you start getting below like 40 health. Otherwise, just like spam damage. And just try to dodge the best you can. That's one of those phases you just get a feel for over time. You just like work towards it. I had 2 brews for it, so. Okay, we are going to do the Zebak. Okay, Zebak, we are going to use crossbow. Okay. You can guaranteed finish this puzzle if you run up to here and use your jug on the water. Using your jug is a tick faster. Both here and on the tree. That's why you see people do it. So we can beat the first spawn of a lizard eating the tree by just doing this, and it'll instantly finish the puzzle. Cool things with these spikes is if you were moving beforehand, you run straight through them, so you take no damage. And we beat the lizard. I'm going to pull out... No, let's not waste a drone. Our salt is almost out. You can see it's running out with the buff timer. 20 seconds left. So we're going to re-up that. And we're going to bone dagger the boss. Fang surely is like way better DPS, but I guess it's hard for beginners. It's actually not. It's actually not. I checked. Fang is close, but it's actually not better, surprisingly. Okay, so hit your salt before you enter the room. Piety on. Run at Zebak. If you run up immediately, poke him in the face, and run away, he will not bite you. Getting bit is bad. That kills you. I hit a 20. That's really good. That's the full drain, so that's nice. Okay, one of the things I do on Zebak is I hang out at the left side of the room. The reason I hang out at the left side of the room is because he's going to do a puzzle where I have to push a jug and shoot it to clear acid out so I can hide, which is this. This solution's always right here. Every single time it will be right there. Okay. It blocks 3 tiles behind this, so you can stand on either of these 2 tiles and we're good. And he's going to do a roar and it won't hit us. All right, easy. And back we go. So the next special is going to be waves. It's random. It's either waves first or that attack first. So now it's going to do waves. All right, waves come from behind us. So let's step out a little bit. Make sure to keep your crossbow range in mind as you run through these. It's only 8 tiles, I believe. And run through it. Easy. Okay, the solution for this is always in the middle of the room. So if you stay on the left side and then the middle side, you're always going to have a solve for this. Every time. Shoot him for a second, and then we hide here. You can throw your bow on long range for a shot. Okay, these are blood clots, tomatoes, bad. These are going to run you over and heal the boss if they hit you. They're kind of dumb, so you just kind of avoid them for a second. And then they all disappear. I'm hanging out here to shoot the boss for a second. I'm going to save these jugs. It's very important. You better do this in your runs or I will call your mother. Now, as you're bored... Okay, this is going to do in rage phase. As you're bored, you can throw these jugs in the croc's mouth to feed him. He's very hungry. So these attacks are going to be 3 ticks apart. Make sure you watch your prey and don't get smited like that. And he's occasionally going to do a blood barrage as well. I'm just going to spam specs, so I don't really have a use for this. I don't have anything better to do. He's occasionally going to do blood barrage like that. And it's occasionally going to spawn those tomatoes again. So you just got to run around. If you get to the other side of the room on these red tiles, it'll stop. They can't reach you ever. So you'll see these will get right next to me and disappear. You can actually flick to catch the blood barrage like that. So you're not forced to tank it. If you're not comfortable with that, you can just tank it. It hits you like 9. And a little bit of blowpipe action. You're dead. Cool. All right. So that's the whole raid done. Now we go to the last boss. All right. This one. Take life every time. Easy. It's so free. I can't believe Gnomonkey said to take life. If you want to keep your pots, you can actually throw them in this jar. Which is a good idea because you don't need pots anymore. Congratulations, you finished the raid. You have life. You have unlimited potions now. What do we have in this bag, huh? What is in this bag right now? All right. We have the salts. We have the liquid adrenaline, which we're going to use in a second. 5 brews. These are super brews. They're a bit better. 5 restore. 2 ambrosia, which is a cheat code potion that gives you full overhealed health and full prayer. 4 doses of that. And then 2 scarabs, which restore my prayer over time. So this is what we have. When you're going to enter the room, what I'd highly recommend is change your shift click on this. Swap shift click, resupply. My shift is resupply. That means if you drink a dose out of your potions, you shift click this, it refills them. Okay? That applies to the scarabs. It applies to your salt, ambrosia, everything. Really, really good. Okay. I'm going to start with some good old claws. This phase, you do basically nothing, and you take a lot of damage. That's it. Okay? So we're going to open this with adrenaline, because we don't want to take a lot of damage. The longer it takes, the more damage you take, right? We're going to sip a dose of this, spam a bunch of claws, and tank skulls. And do no damage. And we're going to fang, because that's my best DPS. Tank about 30 damage, and then go back to the middle over here. So these are going to offset these, so you can actually dodge them. If you don't tank skulls, you'll just die. Explain which warden. Tank them on the left side. That dictates which guy you're going to fight. You want to fight this guy, not that guy. These are big orbs of damage. There's nothing you can do. There's no mechanic. Just take damage. Do one more. Can't stop me. All right. We're done. Okay, we're going to start with mage every time. Hit a brew. I'll do this as if you were doing it for the first time. You can tank melees. It makes you take a little less damage, which is what I always do. But you don't have to. That makes things harder. I believe augury doesn't give you any benefit here. It's going to depend on setup. I'm fairly certain it won't here. So you can just pray protection prayer. Kind of nice. Actually, augury should give a max, I think. We could find out together. 21. Is it 20 without? It's 3 max? Okay, you must pray augury. How is it 3 max? That's insane. That's wild to me. Don't do this. Don't do melee strat. What are you talking about? When the core comes out, you're going to DDS it, hit your adrenaline, spam specs. You can do 5 specs into 1 big hit. We'll do a fang, I guess. And now we're going to range. So it's going to alternate ranged and mage. These are skulls. If you're in a line 2 tiles away from them, they will not hit you. You can also just dodge them. This is probably the most dangerous special attack. I'm not salted. Make sure you remember salt, or you will do no damage. Explain skulls. Dodge them. They do a lot of damage. For this attack, you can just run over it. And back you go. DDS on. We're going to spec again. Just spam specs. Here, I'm going to get 8 hits. If I actually had a little more damage, I could get 10. I'm not going to get into that, but... 5 specs. 6 specs. 7 specs, big hit. And we're going to do 1 more phase. If you have a Scarab active, You basically have unlimited prayer. I'm doing the thing. Okay, and for this attack, I didn't explain it earlier. For this attack, I kind of just run through it here. Like that. P2 is the biggest supply drain. P2 does a lot of damage. Why can't you do more that time? The amount of hits you get is based on how much damage you deal at the beginning. So you can just poke this to finish. Okay. And we're actually going to Fang Warden, because that's our best option. Actually, was it better? I have it up. I can't remember. Rubies? Nah, rubies. Okay. So swapping a range gear. Okay, this is insanity. I'm gonna slowly do this a second. Okay, so it's 3 tick attack speed. You need to walk every 3 ticks. All right. Summon a thrall. So you have 2 ticks are safe, 1 tick where you're getting damaged. This is all Insanity is. So the other thing with Insanity is, besides the attack speed, the skulls kill you if you don't kill them fast enough. So I'm going to teach you how to kill skulls fast enough. For the first set of skulls, which is going to spawn at 20% health down, they're going to spawn in the middle. So we want to stand right where we're standing. Fang was really, really close, I remember, to the point where I forgot it was worse. What I could do, though, is run in and do Burning Claw specs if I want. Just like this. Which I do want. We're going to run back to the middle, because he's at 20%. Back to the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now, a lot of people don't know this. Just stand at the back. You have time to react, because it takes longer for it to hit the back. Okay? So, Insanity picks up where it left off, but you have time to react to where it was. So you don't even have to remember. You don't have to do anything like that. Ah! There's no way he's telling me not to Burning Claw. What are they talking about? Ah! What, in the chatting? Yo, double rubies? All right, for this skulls, stand on the left side. And just do the roll like that. So the first one's middle. The second one is left side. I think it's done middle each time. Easy. Isn't there a tick to react to the animation from front row? There is not. You have to pre-move it. So if you stand at the back, you have a tick to react. You will just get hit every time if you stand further than these green lines. Okay. Okay, for this one, start at the bottom. Work your way up. Oh, I forgot to mention, at 60% Zebak spawns, he's going to just shoot random prayers at you. So you just reacted and dodged there. And then we get back in cycle. And Baba drops rocks. As long as you're moving every 3 ticks, the rocks will never hit you. So you don't even have to worry about them. I don't even think about the skulls in my head, or the boulders in my head. They don't exist to me. Because they literally cannot hit you. If a boulder hits you, you're also getting hit by his hands, so you mess something up. Okay, for this last set of skulls, it's the same as the second. Left side, all the way. That's it. That's Insanity. Okay. Once he gets down to 5%, it's the last bit. And this is the part that trips people up. I have a whole method to this. If you have 4 sips of ambrosia, you have unlimited health. Congratulations. I'm waiting for the rubies. At this point, Fang is definitely going to be better just because he's low health. I might do a switch to Fang when he's lower. Probably do that. Okay, let's do this. Okay, this is last phase. Let's do some damage. If you hit a scarab, unlimited prayer, so that's nice. Don't have to think about that. Dodge lightning, do shots. Wow, that's lucky. I'm gonna just not do damage for a minute. Let's say you don't get those rubies. And you're panicking and you're brewing and you're taking damage. Alright. Get him a bit lower. Probably 1 more damage. Alright, let's do our switch. Claws out. Ah! They're all missing. Bang him. Don't kick him. Because that low health rubies aren't going to do damage. Okay, and basically every time you go, let's just pretend I can't dodge anything. It's over. Oh my god, I'm dying. Check this out, white potion tech. Oh, I'm dying. I just don't know what to do. And we killed the boss. Congratulations. You have cheat code potion, just spam it. Easy. You don't even have to dodge at the end as long as you have doses of ambrosia. You can literally just camp a prayer and just hit it. Just easy. Okay? I have a bunch of methods to avoid damage. You really don't need to know any of that in a 300. Just bring your ambrosia. Easy. Okay? Let's see, do we get a purple? That's the whole raid done. That's it. No. 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 Pretty good drop, though. It's not bad. 600k? It's pretty good for a 300. Okay, so that's a 40-minute 300. I did a lot of explaining in, like, 70 mil gear. You can do 300s in this. Very, very easily. And they're not that complicated. Didn't do anything too advanced, anything too special. I clicked the bosses, right? Nothing too fancy. As you get better, as you learn all the techniques I have in my other guides, you push the raid level up, right? This is ToA at its most basic. This is ToA at its most simple. You push the raid level up as you go. Throw them on a little bit at a time. Another 25 raid level. Another 25 raid level. Raid level is always worth increasing for loot. As long as you can complete the raid, it is worth doing it at a higher raid level. That breaks down above 500, roughly. Something like that. But work your way up to 400s is what I'd recommend to most people. If you're learning ToA, try to work your way up to 400s, because 400s are really, really good purple chance. 300s are a lot lower. 300s, I believe, are a 1 in 20 purple chance, and 400s are like a 1 in 9? Don't quote me on that. But something like that. Around double purple chance. Very, very good. So if you can work your way up to 400s, you'll get a lot more loot.
Has spawned.
1 in 11? Okay, close enough. Roughly double purple chance. So that's what I would do. I'll show the invos again. Let's say we're learning. What invos would you throw on, right? What are some things that you can throw on? Hardcore's an obvious one. Hardcore just makes it so you lose money when you die. Unlucky. You're making money from raids, so that's fine. All right, so that's a free 10 raid level. Okay. What's some more things we could turn on? Path Seeker's a really obvious one. That's 15 raid level. That gives them all an extra level. Path Seeker's not bad. Let's see some more obvious things. Aerial Assault makes Kephri bombs do a 3x3. You can do that. Akkha invos are really hard, but you can learn them slowly over time. Mind the Gap, pretty easy. Just don't stand in the middle when you phase Baba. So stand to the sides. It's free. Boulder Dash, kill the boulders faster and run through them. You can still do it. 355 we're at right now. Acceleration, Penetration. Both of these just make Warden a little bit tougher. totally doable. Turn all those on. And then I would start cranking the supplies down, probably. A little bit less supplies. Later on, the really good players can get through a raid with just what they bring in. I do 500s with 4 restore. I flick the whole time really hard. And I only take power both times, right? So the more you can flick, use less supplies, the more you can turn the supplies down as well. We're up to 415. Okay, need less help is actually not bad. That's 400. So, and then throwing on some more random things. Akkha invos are kind of tough to learn, but you can get them down. Things I would never turn on is like overly draining or dehydration. This makes it so you can't drink brews. This is 500 raid level stuff. Overly draining makes it so all your specs take 100%. That's really not worth it. Specs are really good. Timers, if you're making time, always an option. This is if you make it. It's never worth turning a timer on if you're not going to make it. If you're not going to beat the raid in 40 minutes like I just did, just barely. What was that, 39 minutes. If you're not going to beat it, you're going to get less raid. You're going to get less purple chance. So don't turn these on for no reason. But if you're going to make the time, you can always turn them on for more raid level as well. Overlords is trolling. I would agree, but if you just want to try harder raids, that's always an option. It's fairly free to do. Crank things up and start working up to 400s. 400s are where the money's at. That's what everybody does that makes good money here, basically. 300s are fine. You'll make a decent amount. Work your way up to 400s. You don't need that much gear to do 400s. It's very, very doable. Get out there, do raids. They're not that hard. This is 70 mil gear. You can do it, I promise. They're not that hard. Do raids. Bump the raid level up. Learn things. Get better. It feels good. It's a good feeling. I'd highly recommend it. Good night, my sweet YouTube. Good luck with your raids. Bye!